Good morning. This is Suzanne Elizabeth, and this is the second part of our no-knead olive bread made with a sourdough starter. So when I left you yesterday, I had just mixed up the batter, and I want to show you what has happened in the last 12 to 18 hours. Can you see that? That is a good rise. That's the same dough that we mixed up yesterday, and it is ready to go into the second rise. And that's going to be very simple. This part of the process takes all of 5 minutes. What you're going to be doing is taking the dough out of here and just getting it plumped, fluffed as it were. Let's see if I can show you real quick. So here's our dough, and I have great hopes for this bread. I have to tell you, not every bread comes out perfectly, and I think part of that is because I live at 8,000 feet above sea level in the mountains of Colorado, and I love it here, but it can make baking a real challenge. So sometimes things don't work out, and at first it used to really frustrate me. Now I look at it as a learning experience. So my bread is now out on my wooden board, and I'm going to have to sprinkle it with flour and put some flour on my hands as well, because this dough is very wet. And so what I'm going to do, I'm not really kneading it. I'm just, as you can see, just folding it under and over, so that what we're doing is we're giving the gluten a little stretch, but we're also giving it some form. Okay, so I've kind of rolled it out into, not rolled it out, pulled it out to a little flat rectangle, and now I'm going to fold it over in thirds. See that? 1, 2, and I'm going to need a little more flour. And that's it. I mean, that's literally all you need to do. Now, this part, the next part we're going to do is, the next step is using or creating a sling, because this is going to rise for 2 hours. And then in the last 30 minutes of that rise, I'm going to take this beautiful blue, it's a Le Creuset pot, but any Dutch oven or cast iron pot, and you can see mine has really been well used for baking. This is going to go into the oven at 450 degrees for 30 minutes, and I would recommend taking your top off during that time, because sometimes this can not withstand the heat so well. So heat this at 450 degrees for 30 minutes, and then I'll show you why we need the sling, because what we're going to do, so here's my little towel, dish towel. This is some just plain old yellow cornmeal, and I'm going to sprinkle some cornmeal on the towel, and then I'm going to take this and seam side down. You can see I'm just, once again, it's still kind of wet. So put the seam side down on the cornmeal, and again, the reason why we're putting this cornmeal is so that the dough does not stick to the towel. So what's going to happen is, after, it's going to go back into its little bowl for 2 hours and rise. Get a nice little rest and rise for 2 hours. Then, after we have heated this up, remember the last 30 minutes we're going to heat up this pot in our oven. when we open up the oven door, we're going to use this as a sling, because the pot is so hot, to literally just roll the dough seam side up into the pot. And then we're going to cover the pot and let it bake for about 30 minutes with the top on. And then we take the top off and let it bake another additional 15 or 20 minutes. And the reason for that is actually really brilliant. When you put it into this pot and put the top back on, and it's at this blazing hot 450 degrees, it's going to, as the bread bakes, it's going to release a lot of steam, and that steam is going to be trapped in the pot, and that's going to actually help the bread to rise and to develop a nice crust and a moist interior. And then when you take the top off for the last 20 minutes of baking, that will allow the bread to develop a beautiful golden brown crust. And so you're going to end up with a bakery quality bread at home. So there you go. Baby in a sling. And we are going to just let this rise for 2 hours, and I'll come back for part 3 and show you how it turned out. And in the meantime, I hope you'll enjoy a cup of coffee with me. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen. This is Suzanne Elizabeth, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers.